AFAD. Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri will remain for the next exchange. His Excellency Hakan Fidan, you may return to your seat. I have the honor to invite the Minister of Industry and Technology of the Republic of Turkiye to exchange the document on scientific and logistic collaboration in Antarctic and Arctic research between the Polar Research Institute under the Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkiye and the Sultan Mizan Antarctic Research Foundation. Thank you, Excellencies. For the next exchange, I have the honor to invite Yang Berhormat Minister of Defence of Malaysia and His Excellency Secretary of Defence Industries of the Republic of Turkiye. His Excellency Haluk Gorgun.
Oh ja, şütük.
The two ministers will exchange Memorandum of Understanding between the Government of Malaysia and the Government of the Republic of Turkiye on government-to-government procurement and the terms of reference for the Joint Committee for Defence Products. Thank you, Datuk Seri. You may return. His Excellency Haluk Gorgun, you have two more. Now I invite the Director General of the National Security Council of Malaysia to exchange the document on strategic cooperation in the field of communication systems. Thank you, Yang Mulia Raja Datuk. May I welcome Yang Amat Berhormat Chief Minister of Selangor for the exchange of the strategic cooperation in the field of smart city, traffic and security system solutions between Selangor Aviation and Technology Innovation Sdn Bhd and the Secretariat of Defence Industries of the Presidency of the Republic of Turkiye. Thank you, Yang Amat Berhormat Menteri Besar. To formalize our next bilateral cooperation, may I welcome Yang Berhormat Minister of Domestic Trade and Cost of Living of Malaysia and His Excellency Minister of Trade of the Republic of Turkiye. For the exchange on the cooperation in the fields of consumer protection, market surveillance and inspection. Thank you, Excellencies. For our ninth document, may I invite the Secretary General of the Ministry of Home Affairs of Malaysia and the Chairman of the Board of Desan Shipyard to exchange the pre-acceptance letter on the procurement of one unit of multi-purpose mission ship for the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency. Thank you, Excellencies. Moving on to the next document, I have the honor to invite the Chairman of Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, and the President of the Radio and Television Supreme Council of Turkiye, Datuk, to exchange the document on the cooperation in the field of audiovisual media services. Thank you, Excellencies. For the final document, may I invite the CEO of the Malaysian National News Agency, Bernama, and the Director General and Chairman of the Board of Anadolu Ajanse for the exchange of the renewal of the cooperation agreement in the field of information and communication. Thank you, Excellencies. And with that, we have now come to the end of the exchange of documents ceremony. We shall now proceed with the joint press conference. I have the full honor to invite the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia to deliver his statement.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. dan salam sejahtera. Dear Brother, Excellency President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, President of the Republic of Turkiye, Deputy Prime Minister, Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is a rare honor that we can welcome a leader of the Muslim world and spokesperson for justice, human rights, and consistent in his call for peace and just resolution, not only in Gaza, but throughout the world. We are fortunate to have him as our guest, the first visit to Southeast Asia, and in order to honor Sultan Nazrin of Perak has agreed to confer an honorary doctorate at the University of Malaya, which of course to me and many of my colleagues is outstanding because we are also alma maters and graduate from that university. We have agreed to enhance our bilateral relations, high-level strategic cooperation council, and as you have seen from these numbers of agreements and MOUs between us, this is rare. In our relations with most countries, I think today we have seen maximum sort of a collaboration, which means that our ministers, our bureaucrats and business and companies have taken our commitment very seriously to execute the decisions that we have made. And I am also thankful to the various ministries and departments that have strongly supported this endeavor. Of course, there's a long way to go. President Tayyip Erdogan have suggested that we should enhance trade investments beyond that figure of $5 to $10 billion, which is of course very ambitious, but I believe my colleagues and the commitment you have shown will be able to facilitate. There's no reason why developing economies, emerging economies like Malaysia and Turkiye cannot increase this intra-trade. We have therefore need to work in various fields: semiconductor, agri-commodities, electrical and electronics, food and beverage, and of course defense, which we must, and the defense minister have shown the need to enhance collaboration to make it a part of the ecosystem and exchange of technology. We have been extremely fortunate because your government, Mr. President, has given that trust and confidence to our airport authority, MAHB investment, to continue the collaboration with Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen Airport, and we will certainly work hand in hand as agreed with the local authorities, local construction companies and management, because we have shown a spectacular success in both airline and airport management, which is spectacular not only in Turkey but also seen to be one shining example in Europe and in the world. I've always related my colleagues to seek that example. When I first began to follow Turkish development and know you personally, the Turkish Airlines was probably considered the weakest and the worst in Europe. Now, under your stewardship, I don't know what you did, but you were able to transform that to be the leading airline. And the airport becomes one of the largest, the most efficient, and have secured so many visitors. Just imagine a transformation of less than 10 years. So we will have to learn and share this. But beyond that, of course, in the energy with Petronas and related companies, halal, health, and digital and disaster management, as you have seen, will continue. And finally, on international relations, I have shared with the President his concerns about Rohingya and the development in Myanmar. We pray, inshallah, our initiative with various colleagues around ASEAN will be able to secure lasting peace and security and justice in Myanmar. And but more pressing is, of course, the reconstruction of Gaza and Palestine. Turkey has showed the leadership. As we know, they have sent at least 100 ships of equipment and support for humanitarian assistance, which is spectacular, which is not done by any other country, as I know. And we will, of course, continue to do our bit, and using the facilities mainly in Turkiye, other than Qatar and Egypt for now. But as I mentioned to the President, we will, of course, support the Japanese initiative to set up a fund for the reconstruction of Gaza. They are chairing. They have asked us to co-chair what's called East Asia Reconstruction Plan for Gaza and Palestine. So thank you again, Tashakur, to my dear President. This visit has been extremely meaningful, enriching. And for us, as I've said yesterday, you have been a dear friend to the family. And I think many Malaysians know you and have been observing your movements, your story, and taking your statements very seriously. Firm, resolute, strong, and clearly expression from your strong desire for peace and justice in the world. So again, thank you.
The President of the Republic of Turkey to deliver his statement.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sayın Başbakan.
His Excellency, Prime Minister, esteemed members of the delegations, distinguished members of the press, I greet you all with my warmest feelings, respect and affection. I'm very pleased to be here again in brotherly and friendly Malaysia, which I last visited in the year 2019. And I also would like to express my gratitude to Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim and all our Malaysian brothers and sisters for their warm and gracious welcome towards me and my delegation. Last year, we celebrated the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Turkiye and Malaysia. However, the friendship and brotherhood between the Turkish and Malay peoples date back centuries. As two countries that have established a comprehensive strategic partnership, we draw our strength from this ancient shared history and follow in the footsteps of our ancestors. And in the forthcoming period, God willing, we will continue to advance our relations in a more effective and institutional manner by establishing the High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council in line with the spirit of our comprehensive strategic partnership. During today's discussions, together with my August brother, we have evaluated possible steps that will further strengthen our relations. And a couple of minutes ago, in your presence, we have signed 11 MOUs, which will solidify our commitments. And we have also ratified the declaration that showcases our common will. As Turkiye and Malaysia, we share a common understanding of increasing the dynamism and diversity in trade and investment under the principle of win-win. We have already surpassed our previous target of $5 billion in bilateral trade volume, and I think we have jointly decided to take this number up to more than $10 billion. Now with Malaysia, our largest trading partner in the ASEAN region, we aim for a sustainable and a balanced trade volume of at least $10 billion. I hope that the business forum, which will be held today, later in the afternoon, will serve as an opportunity for new cooperation models and investment projects. We are determined to maintain the momentum we have achieved in the defense industry through projects involving technology transfer and joint manufacturing. Our companies are ready to share their expertise and their products with Malaysia in ways that would benefit both countries. Distinguished members of the press, in our recent discussions, which we have completed, we have examined opportunities for cooperation in various fields, such as industry and technology, energy, tourism, culture, and education. And we have focused extensively on concrete steps to be taken forward. We have also once again underlined our common goals and objectives and our will. We are welcoming the increasing interest of the Malaysian people in our country and look forward to welcoming more of our Malaysian brothers and sisters in Turkiye. Furthermore, we emphasize the significant role played by our flagship airlines in strengthening the bonds of brotherhood between our peoples. And with regards to the Sabiha Gökçen Airport in Turkiye, we have had bilateral discussions in a comprehensive manner. We have increased recently the number of the runways up to 2, and soon the construction of the terminal building will be completed. And just like IGA, Sabiha Gökçen will be able to operate a larger number of aircrafts by forming a different foundation for tourism and commerce. We are also striving to increase cooperation opportunities in this sector. Regarding culture and education, we reached a consensus on the swift activation of the joint committee between the Council of Higher Education of Turkiye and Malaysia's Ministry of Higher Education. And additionally, through the largest Yunus Emre Turkish Cultural Center in the region and the Turkish Marif Foundation, we will continue to stay close to our Malaysian brothers and sisters and strengthen our existing bonds. Dear members of the press, as part of our foreign policy approach based on multilateral diplomacy in 2019, we have launched the Re-Engage Asia initiative. On this occasion, I would like to congratulate Malaysia on assuming the ASEAN term presidency for 2025 and trust that it will carry out this responsibility in the best possible way. During this tenure, I hope that our cooperation with ASEAN will be taken to new heights, and I trust in Malaysia's support in this direction. During our discussions today, we also thoroughly reviewed regional and international issues, particularly Palestine. Just about the humanitarian aid, we have dispatched more than 100 vessels to help the people of Palestine. And these vessels will continue bringing humanitarian aid to those in need. Gaza and Palestine are the two topics where the Malaysian stance deserves appreciation. The resolution of the issue depends on ending the Israeli occupation, which remains the core problem.
Daha öncekiler gibi son ateşkes mutabakatında da İsrail'in verdiği sözleri
I think, just like it was the case previously, as a result of the latest ceasefire, Israel failed to keep its promises. The Israeli occupation should end once and for all, and the destruction caused by the Israelis should be compensated.
1967 sınırları esas alınarak
And
başkenti Doğu Kudüs
in this regard, the establishment of an independent, sovereign, and territorially integrated Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital is essential based on the 1967 borders. Turkiye and Malaysia will continue their efforts and support for Palestine without slowing down.
sürdürecektir. Bu düşüncelerle Enver kardeşime
As I conclude my remarks,
teslim ettiğim
I hope that the domestic electric vehicle, which is TOG, which I've just presented to my brother Prime Minister Anwar, will become a symbol of Turkish and Malaysian solidarity.
Sayın Başbakan'a
I would like to once again extend my heartfelt thanks to Prime Minister Enver Ibrahim and our dear Malaysian brothers and sisters for their exceptional hospitality. I hope Allah will always be with you.
hayırlara vesile olmasını temenni
I hope and pray that this visit and discussions will be a blessing and will yield the most auspicious results for both of our nations. May you remain in health and peace.
We will now take questions from the
Ekselansları çok teşekkürler. Şimdi medya mensuplarından
two questions, one each from the Malaysian and the Turkish media. We will start with the first question. Please introduce yourself.
Assalamualaikum. Hi Datuk Seri, President Erdogan. I'm Hanis from Bernama. I have one question each for both of you. For Datuk Seri, given Malaysia's current role as ASEAN chair, how do you envision Turkey's role in strengthening its ties with ASEAN nations and contributing in cooperation of critical issues such as the reconstruction of Gaza? Thank you. Okay, my question for President Erdogan. What are Turkey's key priorities in strengthening ties with Malaysia, and how does this align with the country's broader engagement in Southeast Asia? Thank you.
Thank you. ASEAN have taken a position to support urgently the ceasefire in Gaza. And in the process of reconstruction, we are committed to ensure that adequate support is given. The Foreign Minister, Tun Hassan, last month had an engagement with all the foreign ministers where they reiterated that position. I'll continue engagement with all the leaders so that we can give the adequate support to the Japan initiative, co-chair with Malaysia, for an immediate reconstruction of Gaza. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Just like my distinguished brother mentioned, ASEAN member states will be most welcome to move together in order to eradicate the victimization of the Palestinian people in Gaza. How can we be of further help, whether it be humanitarian or financial? It's not a responsibility solely to be assumed by Malaysia nor Turkiye. This is not something that we can achieve alone. But if we were to move together as the ASEAN nations, we can surmount this enormous hurdle. Thank you.
From the Turkish media, please.
Esselamu Aleyküm. TRT Haber Televizyon.
I'm from TRT News Agency. Malaysia is going to assume the term presidency of, has assumed the term presidency of ASEAN as of January the 1st, 2025. And I think Malaysia is moving towards her goals in order to become a much more significant power in this part of the world. And Turkiye is now a sectoral dialogue partner for ASEAN. As we are visiting Southeast Asia this week, I would like to ask you about the possible development, further development of the relations between Malaysia and Turkiye in several sectors. Thank you. As I have previously stated, this is a two-dimensional issue. Financial and humanitarian aid is required for Gaza.
Ve nakdi olarak her türlü desteği vermeye, verebiliriz.
In-kind assistance will be required down the line, and I think we are more than capable of providing anything that is needed. These are some of the issues we had discussed bilaterally.
Filistin
But
ve yine bir diğer tarafta Suriye'de
we haven't only focused on Palestine, but we also focused on Syria because there is no infrastructure or superstructure left behind. The country was destroyed, and thanks to the steps we might take forward jointly, we can focus on realizing infrastructure and superstructure projects in Syria as well. And our interlocutors will be focusing on these possible scenarios, and we will respond duly. Thank you so much. And my
position that we take is, of course, to enhance collaboration, of course, bilaterally with Turkiye. But as alluded to in the earlier discussion, we have dialogue partners, ASEAN, other than countries in Asia, but also Canada, EU, and therefore, there has been a call for the agency to expand this, and I've consulted and discussed with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Malaysia, to ensure that we bring it up to the heads of government of ASEAN to ensure that there is adequate participation to be treated fairly as we have treated some other countries, including EU and Canada, New Zealand and Australia, for example, other than India and China, Japan and Korea, to expand this at least as dialogue partners, Turkey as dialogue partner for ASEAN. And this will be given a priority in our discussions. On the issue of Gaza, Palestine, of course, as I said, and we will continue, but we are not working in a vacuum. You see this so-called ceasefire, but then you can continue to observe the intransigence and aggression of Israel. I mean, this is, to me, as I've said, this is a colonization, a project of colonization. I mean, how much negotiations can you have when the colonizer has not withdrawn? And that's one principle. And secondly, of course, this is also an issue of politics of dispossession. When you rob people's land, people's houses, people's property. And therefore, there are two issues here we have to resolve. One, of course, immediate humanitarian assistance, but also a long-term, just amicable resolution to the problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And with that, we have reached the conclusion of our joint press conference. Thank you once again.
Sorry, I think he is supposed to have the second question. Sorry.
You have answered my question, Mr. Prime Minister. Thank you.
Oh, say thank you.
Okay. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. The delegation shall now proceed to the banquet hall for the official luncheon.